2 cameras with me and my cell phone.
So it's what you went to. Where'd you go in Florida?
I'm sorry, I went to Florida. My wife, parents live in Hope Sound, which is just north of Jupiter. It's right on the coast. Jupiter is just north of Miami. And we stayed there a couple of days, and then we went to Disney World, to the Epcot Center. This is glowing rocks right there, as you see. I'll get to that later. So I took 2 cameras. Like I said, I took a Pentax MX. This is an all-mechanical, all-manual camera, 35 millimeter film camera, and I took a Pentax K70 digital camera. Now the K70 has a 18 to 135 millimeter lens. It's a kit lens. I'm not a pixel peeper. It works fine for me. It's not a professional grade level lens, but it works fine for me. So I took pictures just for my enjoyment to share with my wife's family, and so here we go. I've got 2 different presentations. One of them is in, it's on OneDrive right now. It's Microsoft OneDrive, and then I also have some in Google Photos. So we went to good Lord, not Waterworld.
SeaWorld.
Thank you. Went to SeaWorld, thank you, and the first thing that we saw was the Dolphin Show. And I actually enjoyed that quite a bit. You can see that the trainers actually were in the water with the dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
So is this the film or the digital?
This is the digital. All the things that you're seeing here are with the digital. All the pictures that I took with the film camera were in black and white. That's just for my own personal edification. I haven't gotten to the point where I can scan my picture, the film, and convert it into positive images. So I didn't even bother. So.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. And now here's my apologies. I haven't figured out what's going on with this. All of my vertical framed pictures all decide that they want to display this way. So we went into the Arctic, the Antarctic, and love was in the air at that time. And the handlers were right in there with them. They had an ice machine that was constantly dropping snow, and they were out there constantly distributing that. And you can see that there's really not much there to separate the people from the penguins.
Wow, I would have to touch one.
And you can see that I was surprised at how big they are.
What was the temperature there?
Oh, it was pretty cool.
Was it?
Yeah, of course, you can see everyone is, since it's Florida, everyone is in, shorts and, light clothing. So, yeah, it's that ice and snow was not just melting freely. So it was pretty cool in there. And of course, a lot of birds are scavengers. So they were looking for little scraps.
That's an ibis.
Yeah.
Yep, ibis is sometime.
Oh,
It's an ibis. Perhaps a white ibis.
And let's see, which was this? I believe I forget which. I think this was the sea lion and otter show, and they had a mime out there who was making fun of the people as they were coming in to get seats. And I like the otter. I thought he was the star of the show. Yeah.
Wow, cute. Wow.
That's cool.
So on that, my wife works for a vending machine company, so that's why I got that picture of the machine. So,
Wait. So that was her beside it?
and no, that's one of the trainers playing a part.
Yeah, they're just showing how
Yeah.
the thing comes from food from the vending machine.
And then you go through the aquarium, and
Right.
you go through the tunnel, and you can see the sharks and all the other fish and the stingrays that are over top of you. So that was pretty cool. And there was Natalie Grant. They actually had a nativity scene set up. I couldn't even get close enough to get a decent picture of the nativity scene. We were actually surprised that there was a contemporary Christian artist there who was performing. So, and then we saw the killer whales. None of the trainers were in the water with the killer whales.
Oh, wow.
And for good reason.
Yeah, I believe a couple of years ago, one of the trainers was drowned by
Yeah.
whales.
There's a guy there.
And they actually had the splash zone well marked, and we made sure that we were well above the splash zone.
That's no fun.
I've got cameras. I don't want salt water all over
That's
them.
true.
Fair enough.
And as the evening wore on, and we saw some other. Oh, I missed it. Okay, maybe I've got some pictures later on. So there, we left SeaWorld. Geckos are everywhere, all over Florida, and went down to the coast, close to Home Sound. My wife loves the sound of the surf. This is Stuart. You just love that guy feeding the birds, yeah. And there we go again. There was what was it, a nature reserve or a reserve for the sea cows, the manatees, yes. So,
Oh, that's pretty cool.
yeah, and this is Shepherd Park. I believe this is in Stewart. My brother-in-law had been working all his life and had saved up his money, made investments, was an IT guy, bought himself a sailboat, and one day he goes and checks he's still working up here, and he flies down, has a new motor installed, and he goes to check the oil in, and seawater comes squirting out of the dipstick.
Oh.
So there is a wet exhaust. I don't know anything about it, I don't understand it, but it has something to do with seawater comes in to help it cool the engine, and it all backflowed into the engine. So he asked us to check on his boat to see if it's still there. So I found a place to moor it, and we saw these sunsets, so I just kept snapping pictures. This is Blowing Rocks. If you look at a map, it's north of Jupiter, I believe it's south of Hope Sound. You have to go at high tide. That's the only time you get that effect, and it's actually a reserve. So this was, by the way, all those pictures I had, because I was had a mechanical camera, manual camera, at the same time I'm using my digital camera. I set my digital camera to manual, and I set the ISO to the same speed as what I had in my manual camera, the film camera. So just out of curiosity, I did Sunny 16. So okay, we got aperture of 16, shutter speed of 1/500ths, and the ISO is 400. And it looks a little overexposed. My sweetheart, it looks pretty good, but the sand is just washed out. You can see the buildings in the background look pretty good, but the beach sand is just too bright.
Steve, what did you say those rocks? What's the story?
That's called Blowing Rocks.
Blowing rocks.
Yeah.
What did they do?
You can just see, this is where the bedrock has come to, with the geology, the bedrock meets the surface right at the surf line, and when the waves come in, they just have been eroding the rock, and there are a couple of places there where they actually have channels, blowholes.
And You get those huge geysers.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that the Atlantic coast or the Gulf?
That's the Atlantic coast, yes. And then there's a Spanish moss. Someone alongside the road, someone decided to break Spanish moss, so I decided I had to pull over and take a picture of that. I borrowed my father-in-law's bicycle and went a little ways down the road to take some pictures. Again, this picture here is one stop overexposed compared to the previous one. This is what the meter said was, or the camera said was normal exposure.
Yeah, the color looks good on that.
So I get a little more detail out of that, or the trees with one stop overexposed. And then we went to Disney World, the Epcot Center, and you see we've got, there's China and Mulan. That's the closest we were allowed to get to her. We were only allowed, had to be about 20 or 30 feet away. They had a little gate, so we couldn't get any closer to her because she's not wearing a mask. And there's Germany with St. George slaying the dragon right there in the center on the pedestal. And they had a candlelight procession where they read this is in Disney, where they read the Christmas story of the birth of Jesus. And I don't know why I couldn't get this right. I took several pictures and my camera, autofocus, was focusing on the people in the front row. And I didn't get a decent picture of the choir. And then we went to France for Ratatouille and rode the ride that they had there, which was fun. And we've got a miniature version of the Eiffel Tower right there.
Nice.
And there I finally figured out how to get a vertical orientation, and it didn't flip on me. But then I couldn't figure out how to edit the presentation so that I could put them in the correct order. Okay, so Doom Dog Cafe. It is, there are three, they have 3 stores, and it's great for local charm, okay for food, okay? And then we had to go back to the beach because my wife loves the beach.
That's a nice picture, you said.
Yeah, this is, all the selfies are from my cell phone, so I was able to upload those.
Why is it like mirrored?
Yeah, just notice that my t-shirt that actually says it's okay, I've had my shots, is backwards.
I messed up.
And, okay, there we are again, using my cell phone to take pictures. Now this is actually, we took the miniature binoculars that we carry with us, and I held that up to the lens of the cell phone to take a picture of my brother-in-law's boat.
Oh.
To show him that it's actually there, it hasn't sunk. All right. It's amazing what you can find in a thrift store.
Oh, sexy.
Yeah, in case your GPS goes down. Okay, and then I went back with actually it was the same time. I took a picture of that with my cell phone.
You rated them.
When we went to Disney World, we parked in Imagine 66. However, I didn't use my GPS to locate my vehicle, and we wandered all over the place trying to figure out where is Imagine 66.
I do that at Walmart.
And again, a selfie. That's in the living seas, and Mickey gets everywhere. And then we are in Norway.
You get around.
Yeah, yeah. Back to China. Yeah. And Italy.
Those are so cool.
And again, Italy. Again, China. And we went to the American Experience. I had to take a picture of that one. That one reminds me of my dad. People used to joke that when he dies, we're going to bury a gold-plated shovel with him. And, I can't tell you off the top of my head what all of those statues represent.
Pioneers.
Yeah. So there we are. I used my cell phone. That's an attempt at making a panoramic image with my cell phone.
It worked.
That's the candlelight procession, the reading of the Christmas story from the book of. Oh, it was Bart Millard. You may remember, 5-10 years ago. I Can Only Imagine, the song I Can Only Imagine. That's his song, and so he was invited to read the story. All right. Let's see, is that the last one? I don't seem to have an arrow, so I guess that's it.
Cool.
So there we are.
All right.
So what did you learn? What would you do differently? Take a different lens or?
Yeah, what lens did you use?
I used my 18 to 135,
Okay.
and you know what? That lens just works fine
Good
for
walk
me.
around lens.
Yeah.
That's what I got on this right now.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
Is it a wide angle?
Yeah, the 18. I believe someone else with more knowledge might be able to correct me on this if I'm mistaken. 18 on that lens would be equivalent to a 28 on a 35 millimeter film lens.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. So yeah, that's a wide angle to, let's see, 135. That would get you close to 200 millimeter or 150 millimeter, I'm guessing. So yeah, I took the Pentax MX. Over on the table there, I have a Nikon F2. That Pentax camera is about 2/3 or 3/4 the size of that Nikon. I like getting on an airplane. I'm worried about weight and size, and so I took a smaller camera. So there we are.
Did you ever have the K1000?
I have at the time. This time I have 3 of them.
Oh,
So yeah, I like there's something about listening to the timer in them when they're at about a quarter or half or 1 second, when they go zzz, click. I like that. I have several old mechanical cameras.
all film cameras when you have to forward the film and click.
Right.
Sounds cool.
Yes. So, all right. I think I'm done, and I'm not going to take up any more of your time. Thank you.
Well, thank you.